A South Georgia family is facing $50,000 in home repairs, even with home insurance, because of damage to their home.
That's right. WALB News 10's Brittany Blake breaks down why this family and many others are left alone recovering from recent storms.
The Ellenberg home has been completely damaged, but it wasn't from Hurricane Helene. It was the recent flooding that caused water to fill every room in the house and leaving the Ellenbergs to question what to do if insurance doesn't cover the damage.
It never even crossed my mind.
Just a week ago, Chase Ellenberg was looking for ways to get his wife and 3 young daughters to safety when water started flooding their home at 1 a.m.
First went to my shed to get a shop vac. I was thinking to get water out of the house. And then I saw how much water it was, and so I knew that was hopeless. So I grabbed my kayak because my girls don't swim. I've got little girls. So I kayaked into the house to get them, to make for sure that I could get them to safety, and kayaked them out of the house.
He called his insurance company after the flood, and that's when he found out there was no coverage.
And I told them it was coming from everywhere, and I think that was enough for them to say it's flooding and they're not going to cover it.
I spoke to a public adjuster and insurance claim advocate who said the type of flooding and water interest is impacting several Valdosta residents.
A lot of folks don't really have flood insurance, or if they did, most companies here in Valdosta, I've seen policies that they're limited to $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 limit, even though they have $100,000 worth of damage to the property.
They're telling me it's probably going to be upwards of $50,000 to get back to some sort of normal.
The subdivision is not considered to be a flood zone, so the question is, what happened? Went to the Ellenberg's neighbor, Justin Stone, who was clearing up vegetation during the flood to alleviate some of the water.
Probably about 4 hours later, the water dropped to 18 to 20 inches, which by that time it was too late. It had actually, swamped several houses in this neighborhood.
He showed me how a little debris could create a path for water to rise versus going through the pipe. He says the center culvert maintained by Georgia Department of Transportation was clogged with vegetation.
That is what I think really caused a lot of the problems, was all the storm debris clogging all the culverts throughout all these communities, and it just backed up.
I went back during daylight and saw where vegetation had built up in a few of the culverts near the Ellenberg's home. GDOT did confirm there is some vegetation where water enters and leaves the culvert. Still leaves the question of what happened and how do families recover. Chase Ellenberg had one piece of advice.
Yeah, I would say know what's in your homeowner's policy. Know what your insurance says on the paper. It's something that I never really, I've always had homeowners insurance, but never got into the details until I needed it. And I wish I had something better.
But homeowners are right to wonder why their homes get flooded if they're not in a floodplain, and whether infrastructure changes are needed. That's a question that many in Lowndes County are asking. Brittany Blake, WALB, your hometown news source.